millions of U.S. citizens are barred from exercising one of this country's most important rights, the right to vote.
The reason? Felony convictions. According to the Sentencing Project, a nonprofit that advocates for restoration of voting rights, in 2022, 1 out of 50 people of voting age was disenfranchised due to a felony conviction, and the rate was 3.5 times higher among Black Americans. Advocates say the policies stem from the Jim Crow era and efforts to limit access to the ballot box.
Reporter Peter Zampa explains how laws vary by state and what's being done to create change.
In some states, people have to wait years after completing a sentence to vote. Florida doesn't restore voting rights until court fines and fees are paid. And in places like Tennessee, the governor restores former felons' voting rights on a case-by-case basis. Iowa had a similar law. Now, tens of thousands of Iowans have regained access to the ballot box.
Hey, how you doing?
Charles, Peter, great to meet you.
Hey, nice
Charles welcomes us into his home in southwest Des Moines, a present looking much different than his past.
When I got locked up, I was going into my senior year of high school. Me and my best friend robbed a bank. Felt like I needed to rob and steal to get what I needed.
How did prison change you?
It made me open up my eyes that this is not the way that I wanted to live. They got full control of your life.
You regained your freedom in 2011, but you didn't regain all your rights. You couldn't vote. What impact did that have on you?
It's like they don't care about us. We don't matter. Why are you holding people back from voting? Because they're probably going to vote a way that you don't want them to vote. And that's about keeping the control.
Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds restored hope for many in 2020, signing a key executive order. It said unless convicted of homicide or sexual crime, ex-felons who complete their sentences can vote.
Why do you think this fight was so hard in a state like Iowa?
I think sometimes people are punitive.
Mark Stringer is the executive director of the ACLU of Iowa. He says Governor Reynolds' move is a step in the right direction, but it's not permanent. Iowa has seen governors take away and restore voting rights a few times over the last 20 years.
And that created confusion, as you can imagine. A permanent fix would be a constitutional amendment.
How does disenfranchising these ex-felons impact historically marginalized communities?
1 in 10 Black men in Iowa could not vote until this executive order was signed, because 1 in 10 Black men had been formerly convicted of a felony. So there is a disproportionate impact on people of color, in particular Black men.
Why is voting such an important part of the rehabilitation process?
Studies have shown that when people are able to participate in their democracy, they're more a part of their community. They feel like their voice matters again.
Charles Bruton's perspective is back in the mix. Later this year, he'll choose who he wants to lead our nation. He'll cast his ballot, looking to the future.
When I got out, it was just all about me building, like becoming successful and not going back. Having my own house, having a car, having a good job, making a good income, and having a family. So I feel like I beat the odds just doing that.
This societal stigma when it comes to ex-felons, what do you think it's going to take to sort of reverse that course?
You got to keep punching at it. You got to raise up your voice and say, I want a real second chance. And you got to keep fighting for that.
An in-depth look at how the number of people disenfranchised due to felony convictions also varies by state. The Sentencing Project found in 2022 in Alabama and Tennessee, 1 in every 13 adults was barred from voting. And in 5 additional states, 1 in 10 Black people was disenfranchised. Florida led the nation with more than 1 million people banned from voting, often because former inmates could not afford to pay court-ordered sanctions.
Meanwhile, in D.C., Maine, and Vermont, felons never lose their right to vote, even while incarcerated. To take a closer look at laws by state, head to investigatetv.com and search voting rights.